Nigeria, Africa's oil giant, has just thrown the US dollar in the trash, and what better timing than right before the Brics Summit? For anyone still clinging to the idea that the West runs the world, it's time for a serious wake-up call. The BRICS nations aren't just challenging the West anymore, they're laying the groundwork to bury it. And guess what? Nigeria, Africa's economic powerhouse, has officially joined the rebellion. When should we expect the official dollar to end? Let's find out. Nigeria has decided to sell crude oil in other currencies. This is not just about oil, nor is it merely about economic strategy. Nigeria's move to sell crude oil in local currency, rather than the almighty US dollar, is a direct challenge to the Western financial system. It's a political statement, a signal that the world no longer revolves around the greenback, and the power dynamics are shifting. BRICS is here to dismantle the Western order, and Nigeria is stepping up as a proud ally in this de-dollarization revolution. But why did Nigeria do it? Nigeria's Federal Executive Council didn't just wake up and decide to ditch the dollar out of the blue. No, this move was calculated, strategic, and perfectly timed to hit where it hurts the most: the US financial stranglehold on global trade. Mohamed Manga, Nigeria's Director of Information and Public Relations at the Ministry of Finance, didn't mince words when he announced the shift to local currency for oil sales. Nigeria's crude oil will now be sold in Naira, bypassing the US dollar. This isn't just about economics. This is about reclaiming political independence from Western manipulation. The dollar has been used for decades as a tool of control, a financial noose around the necks of countries that rely on the West for trade. But Nigeria has decided enough is enough. It's time to stop playing puppet to the Western powers. By aligning itself with BRICS and ditching the dollar, Nigeria is staking its claim as a leader in the global South, and it's doing so unapologetically. Nigeria's shift to selling oil in local currencies didn't happen in isolation. The BRICS have been leading the charge against the dollar's dominance for years. De-dollarization has been a central goal of the BRICS alliance since 2022. The Western financial system, which has long relied on the US dollar as the world's reserve currency, is starting to crumble under the weight of its contradictions. But why is Nigeria aligning with the BRICS mission and not the West? What makes BRICS different from the West? Simple. BRICS isn't just another alliance of nations. It's a bloc that operates on the principle of mutual benefit, not domination. While the West continues to push outdated economic models designed to benefit a small elite, BRICS is focused on building financial systems that work for all of its members. This isn't some pie-in-the-sky dream. It's real, and it's happening right now. By selling its oil in Naira, Nigeria is saying, "We don't need your crumbling currency to thrive." And that's exactly what BRICS stands for: economic independence from the Western chokehold. It's a powerful message, one that will reverberate across the global South and beyond. Now the question is, what will happen to the dollar after this? Here's a reminder to please like and share the video, and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Africa's geopolitics, economy, and changing landscape. Let's continue now. Let's not mince words here. The dollar has been on a slow decline for years. Western sanctions, currency manipulation, and over-reliance on a single currency have eroded trust in the dollar. The US has long used its currency as a weapon, punishing countries that refuse to toe the line. But as BRICS rises, countries are beginning to realize that they don't need to bow to the dollar any longer. Nigeria's announcement to ditch the dollar is just the latest blow to a currency that's teetering on the edge. With 37 billion barrels of proven oil reserves, Nigeria holds 3.1% of the world's total reserves, making this not only an economic decision but a geopolitical one. The implications are clear. Nigeria has the resources and now the political will to call the shots on its terms. For years, the West has used the dollar as a sledgehammer, sanctioning countries that don't fall in line and controlling global markets with the flick of a wrist. But the tide is turning. The BRICS nations are swinging back, and they're not playing by the West's rules anymore. While BRICS nations celebrate this seismic shift, you can bet that the Western elite is panicking. They know the game is almost up. The US, in particular, has been playing a dangerous game with its currency for decades, pretending that the dollar is invincible. But when major oil players like Nigeria start ditching it, the cracks in the foundation are becoming impossible to ignore. This isn't just about Nigeria. This is about BRICS reshaping the global financial order. Countries like China and Russia have long been preparing for this moment. The West, meanwhile, is scrambling to maintain control of a system that's slipping through their fingers. But it's too late. BRICS is the future, and Nigeria's move is an attack on Western financial dominance. So, was this decision right? In fact, the real question is, why should Nigeria continue to trade in dollars at all? What has that currency ever done for them, except tie them to a system designed to benefit Western powers? Nigeria is one of the top 15 oil-producing countries in the world, with the 8th largest reserves and the 6th largest oil exports globally. And yet for years, they've been forced to play by rules that benefit everyone but themselves. By switching to Naira for oil sales, Nigeria is making a powerful statement. We control our destiny now. This is a win not just for Nigeria, but for BRICS as a whole. The global south is rising, and BRICS is the engine driving that change. While Western economies scramble to maintain their shrinking influence, BRICS nations are building a new order, one that works for them, not against them. For years, critics have dismissed BRICS as a loose collection of countries with no real bite. But as more nations follow the BRICS model, it's becoming increasingly clear that the West is facing a nightmare scenario. They're no longer in charge. BRICS is building something the West can't compete with, a global economic system that doesn't rely on the dollar or the outdated rules of Western dominance. Nigeria's move to ditch the dollar in favor of local currencies is just the latest example of BRICS' growing influence. And this isn't a one-off. BRICS is a global movement, and countries across the world are starting to realize that they don't need to be chained to the dollar any longer. This is about real economic independence. It's about building systems that serve the interests of BRICS nations, not the West. When Mohamed Manga talks about the Federal Executive Council's decision to sell oil in Naira, he's talking about something much bigger than just financial policy. He's talking about the future of global power. And that future doesn't include the dollar. And what will the future look like for Africa? For far too long, the West has treated Africa as a passive player on the global stage, a continent that could be exploited for resources and controlled through financial manipulation. But those days are over. Nigeria is stepping up as a leader not just in Africa, but on the global stage. This is about more than just oil. It's about power. By aligning with BRICS and rejecting the outdated dollar system, Nigeria is signaling to the world that Africa's time has come. The West may not want to admit it, but the truth is unavoidable. The global South, led by countries like Nigeria, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, is done playing by the West's rules. They're writing their own rules now, and the world is watching. It's time for the West to face reality. The world no longer revolves around them. Nigeria's decision to ditch the dollar is a clear sign that the global South is done waiting for permission to chart its course. This is just the beginning. The BRICS nations are rising, and they won't be stopped. Do you think the dollar is officially dying as a global currency? Will any other currency take over? Let us know in the comments section. Is it going to be BRICS currency? Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We have decided to bring videos on something nobody talks about: African politics, the economy, and increasing power. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.
Tell us what you think in the comment section. Like and share the video, and subscribe so that you don't miss any of our African videos. It's the best way to support us.